What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk a little bit about the next Witcher and the next Cyberpunk. We got hit with kind of both of their updates, right, today through CD Projekt Red. And, it's not like the game is coming out in like half a year. It's not like we know like synopsises, if that's even a word, multiple synopsis of these games. We don't know those things, but we do know kind of the stages they're in development, which I do think is very important. I do think kind of, helps us like figure out in our own soul, right, like how long we have to wait for these games to come out. So what we pretty much got is The Witcher 4 is exiting the pre-production phase and it's going into full-on production, right? That's a big one. In terms of Cyberpunk, it's, the team in Boston, and, he says they're working with, veterans, new talent, and they're in the kind of planning stages. So just the very beginning of the next Cyberpunk game. Now, they are generally really good every so often, maybe even like every quarter that they do it, where they put out that neat little graph, right? And they show like how much every single soul in that company, they assign them like, what they're working on. I really appreciate that. And honestly, I know not everybody's as big as them, or they don't do different studios don't do as much as them, but I would like to see that actually for more of them. It's just kind of cool of like where they allocate talent, and like the ones that have the most people on them are clearly the ones that they're going for, first or even the most, right? So I didn't see that today. I'm just kind of throwing that out there that I do like that, but I would say that's pretty big. So okay, for The Witcher, because that one's closer, right? I mean, literally just by like the stages of development, Witcher's closer. So it's entering that full-on production stage. Now, I saw some tweets to this that talked about like see ya in 2030, 2031, 2032. I actually don't think people are kidding when they say that, right? Like maybe it's a slight exaggeration, but I generally think when people see that it's entering a production thing, they think it's, forever away. I would disagree. Now, I don't know about every single game developer out there, and I will say I do know that the development or the full production stage, right? Let's like call it by that official name. The length of it does depend on who's making a game. For somebody like a Remedy, right? And I've talked quite a bit about like the Remedy updates as we've gotten them, from Alan Wake, I guess Alan Wake 2 back in the day, Control 2, Max Payne's remake, right? Stuff like that. They actually do not take a long time at all when it comes to the production thing. Like literally maybe 2 years max. And I mean, that's if they're really taking their time. But they're fast, right? And I mean, they're a different size than CD Projekt Red. They're making different games than CD Projekt Red. And that's very important to remember. I mean, I absolutely will give you that, where it's like, it's tough to compare because everybody's making different games. Everybody's kind of on different schedules. But, when I hear that The Witcher 4 is entering that full-on production, I do not think 6-7 years from now. Like, I honestly, like, originally I was kind of thinking 3. I might want to move that to 3 or 4. Like, I'd be willing to give it a little bit of wiggle room. But, I mean, if The Witcher 4 came out in 2027, I would not be shocked, right? If it came out earlier, I think I would be shocked. If it came out later, I guess I would continue to not be shocked, right? Where it's like, games can take a while, and these are the type of games and the size of games, and also what CD Projekt Red has done before, right? Like, they had the redemption arc with Cyberpunk, but the issue is their next game, like, it's the first time they're going to be doing that since Cyberpunk. Does that make sense, right? Where it's like the first week of The Witcher 4, yes, you redeemed yourself with Cyberpunk, but it took you a while. Now, okay, this is like week 1 of Witcher 4. We remember week 1 of Cyberpunk, right? So you've got to redeem that part of it as well. And you got to take your time, right? You cannot be having The Witcher 4 come out in a terrible condition. You can't have the next Cyberpunk game after that coming out in terrible. Like, you just cannot do that. So I'm not saying to rush it, and that's why, if it comes out in 2026, my jaw hits the floor, right? Because I think that would actually be quite fast, especially, I imagine, for a game the size, that they're going to want to make The Witcher. But, I honestly think 3 or so years is fine. Maybe 4 years, again, that's why I would say like a 2027, 2028. Cyberpunk, I think, is a little bit more difficult, right? Because, well, number one, they're not even in pre-production. They're just in like the sorting things out kind of phase, like the very, very beginning. Now, I don't think it takes all that long from the planning phase to even pre-production to get like full-on production. For most is the longest, right? So for Cyberpunk, like, you could see within the next maybe year and a half, 2 years, maybe they get to a full-on production thing. The issue is, again, that allocation of people. Like, they're going to be smaller. They're never going to have as many people working on it as The Witcher until The Witcher starts to wrap up. So like while it might take less time, it also actually might take more time because they don't have as many people. They're not moving at the same speed that The Witcher is. So it's just kind of things, to keep in mind. If you want to say Cyberpunk isn't coming till 2030, I actually think that's quite accurate. I would be shocked, again, to throw out that word, if that actually came out before 2030. So, it's going to be a while until you get the next big CD Projekt Red game, but I don't think it's going to be, well, number one, 3 years from now, is that really all that long? Like, time moves really fast, at least for me. So, and I think generally as you get older, time moves fast. So I don't think it's too far away. But yeah, I mean, maybe Cyberpunk, if you want to say, oh, that's not happening until like a PS6 and the next Xbox kind of thing. Witcher, maybe same thing. Like, Witcher might actually not make it on current gen, which is kind of scary. It's kind of scary to think about, but that honestly could happen. So we'll see. I mean, we got many years, I think, to kind of figure this out. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.